더 모어닝 에어 워즈 크리스프 에즈 올리비어 스테프트 오프 더 버스 어저스팅 더 스트래프 오브 허 배그 오버 허 숄더 더 타워링 글래스 빌딩 인 프런트 오브 허 글림드 언더 더 시티 스카이라인 리플렉팅 더 러시 오브 퍼데스트리언즈 허리잉 투 데어 데스터네이션즈 시톡 에이 디프 브레스 스테딩 허셀프 토데이 워즈 임포어턴트 이트 워즈 더 데이 시 우드 파이널리 랜드 더 잡 시 헤드 웍트 소 하우드 포 시 헤드 스펜트 이어즈 프리페링 포 디스 모멘트 카운트러스 레이트 나이츠 스터딩 퍼펙팅 허 스킬즈 어닝 디그리즈 앤드 게이닝 익스피리언스 인언 인더스트리 데트 오펀 오버록트 피플 라이커 but today she was here she had made it this far and nothing was going to stand in her way the lobby was buzzing with activity as employees in tailored suits moved with meetings their voices blending into a row hum of productivity Olivia approached the reception desk her confidence unwavering The receptionist, a woman with a sleek ponytail and a professional yet impassive expression, barely glanced up as Olivia greeted her. Good morning. I have an interview with Emma Carter at 9. The receptionist's fingers moved across the keyboard as she checked the schedule. After a pause, she glanced at Olivia. Her expression a little bell. Name. 올리비어 플로레스. Another pause. A subtle hesitation. Then, with a curtained, the receptionist pointed toward the elevators. 10th floor. Conference room B. 생유, Olivia said, flashing a polite smile before making her way toward the elevators. Inside, she inhaled deeply, yielding her nerves to stay in check. She had been in corporate settings before, had worked hard to navigate a world that wasn't always welcoming. But this was different. This was a new beginning, and she wasn't going to let anything ruin it. The doors slid open, and she stepped out into a sleek, modern hallway lined with glass offices. She followed the signs toward conference room B, her heels clicking against the polished floor. As she approached, she saw a man standing near the doorway, scrolling through his phone. His self navy suit and expensive watch gave away his status before he even opened his mouth. Olivia Flores, he asked without looking up. Yes, that's me. He finally glanced at her, his eyes flickering with something she had seen before: assumption, judgment, something close to dismissal. It was subtle, but she caught it. She had learned to read people quickly, and she could tell he had already made up his mind about her. I'm Emma Carter. Let's keep this brief, he said, pushing open the door and gesturing for her to step inside. Olivia sat across from him, her back straight, her hands folded neatly in her lap. She had rehearsed this interview in her mind 100 times. She knew the company inside and out. She was ready. So, Carter began, glancing at her resume. You've got an impressive background. Degrees, certifications, internships. But tell me, why should I hire you? Olivia smiled, launching into her practiced response. She spoke about her experience, her problem-solving skills, her ability to lead and innovate. She highlighted her accomplishments, her past projects, the challenges she had overcome. She knew she was qualified, more than qualified. But Carter barely seemed to be listening. He leaned back in his chair, tapping a pen against the desk. Look, I'll be honest. You're an interesting candidate, but I'm not sure you'd be the right fit for our company's image. Olivia blinked, her breath catching in her throat. Excuse me. Carter sighed, as if explaining something obvious. We have a certain reputation to maintain. Our clients expect a particular level of tradition and professionalism. It's not just about skills. It's about presence. And quite frankly, I don't think you align with the kind of corporate identity we strive for. Her stomach twisted. She had heard variations of this before. Masked in different words but carrying the same meaning. She knew exactly what he was implying. I'm qualified for this position, she said, her voice firm. I'm sure you are, Carter replied, his tone dismissive. But we're looking for someone who embodies the company culture. And quite frankly, I don't think you'd be the best representation of that. Olivia's fingers tightened around the edge of her chair. She had prepared for difficult interviews, but she hadn't prepared for this level of blatant rejection based on something that had nothing to do with her abilities. She could feel the heat rising to her face, the sting of injustice burning in her chest. But she wouldn't give him the satisfaction of seeing her falter. I appreciate your time, she said, her voice steady. I hope your company finds what it's looking for. Carter gave a non-committal nod, already moving to close the folder containing her resume. To him, she was already gone. Olivia stood, smoothing the fabric of her blazer before turning toward the door. She walked out with her head high, refusing to let him see how much his was had cut. But as soon as she stepped into the hallway, the weight of it all crashed into her. It wasn't just this interview. It was every door that had been closed in her face. Every time someone had told her she wasn't enough, that she didn't belong. She had spent years proving herself, only to be dismissed without a second thought. But as she rode the elevator back down to the lobby, something inside her shifted. She had spent too long asking for a seat at the table. Maybe it was time to build her own. She stepped out into the city streets, the sharp autumn air filling her lungs, clearing her mind. She wasn't defeated. She was fueled. And she had a plan. This was far from over. The city buzzed around Olivia as she stepped onto the sidewalk, her heels clicking against the pavement with each determined step. The sting of counters was still lingered in her chest, but as she walked, she let anger turn into something sharper, something useful. She had spent years working toward this moment, proving herself over and over again, only to be dismissed for reasons that had nothing to do with her ability. It was infuriating. But more than that, it was motivating. She wasn't going to let this rejection define her. Instead of going home, she found herself heading toward her favorite coffee shop, a small, tucked away cafe on the edge of downtown where she had spent countless hours working through business plans, studying market trends, and dreaming about the future she was determined to create. She ordered a coffee, took a seat near the window, and pulled out her notebook. She had always been the kind of person who thrived under pressure. When someone told her she couldn't do something, she didn't lean it, she found a way to prove them wrong. Carter had just given her another reason to push forward. As she sipped her coffee, she began to write. The job she had applied for wasn't the only opportunity in the world. In fact, the more she thought about it, the more she realized that she had been aiming too low. She didn't need to work for a company like Carter's. She needed to build something better. Her mind raced with ideas. What if she started her own firm? She had the experience, the knowledge, and the drive. She had spent years working in finance, building strategies for major corporations, understanding what made companies succeed and fail. She had the network, the connections, and most importantly, she had the hunger to make it happen. By the time she finished her coffee, she had mapped out the foundation of her plan. It wouldn't be easy, but nothing worth doing ever was. She would start small, consulting, offering financial planning service, and slowly growing into something bigger. She had seen too many people, especially marginalized individuals, struggle to find opportunities in corporate spaces that weren't built for them. Maybe it was time to create something different, something inclusive, something that actually valued talent over appearances. The more she thought about it, the clearer her vision became. She wasn't just going to start a company. She was going to create a space where people like her, people who had been overlooked, underestimated, and rejected could thrive. Over the next few weeks, Olivia threw herself into making her vision a reality. She worked tirelessly, building a business plan, reaching out to mentors, and securing initial clients. She leveraged every connection she had made over the years, proving to anyone who doubted her that she was more than capable of standing on her own. It wasn't easy. There were setbacks, moments of doubt, and sleepless nights spent wondering if she had made the right decision. But every time she felt herself able, she remembered Carter's dismissive tone, the way he had looked at her as if she didn't belong. And every time, it reignited her determination. Months passed, and her business began to take shape. Art had started as a small consulting firm quickly grew, gaining traction in the industry. Clients who had been overlooked by traditional firms found a place with her company. Investors took notice, and soon, what had once been a dream turned into something tangible. Then, one morning, as she sat in her office, a space she had built from the ground up, her assistant walked in with a knowing smile. "You're going to want to see this," they said, handing her a file. Olivia opened it, her eyes scanning the contents. She froze. Carter's company was struggling. Their numbers were down, their leadership was in flux, and they were looking for outside investors to stabilize their operations. And at the top of the list of potential buyers, her firm. A slow smile spread across Olivia's face. This was her moment. She wasn't just proving Carter wrong. She was about to own the company that had once rejected her. Olivia leaned back in her chair, the weight of the moment settling in. The irony of it all was almost laughable. Just months ago, Carter had dismissed her, telling her she didn't fit the company's image. And now, his company was floundering, desperate for a financial lifeline. And the best option they had was the very person they had turned away. She took a deep breath, fingers tapping lightly against the desk. She had worked tirelessly for this, building her firm from nothing, securing clients, proving to the world and to herself that she belonged at the top. Every sleepless night, every rejection, every moment of doubt had led her to this. And now, the opportunity to take over Carter's firm was right in front of her. But she didn't want to rush. This wasn't just about revenge. This was about something bigger. Carter's company represented the outdated, exclusionary structures that she had fought against her entire career. Buying it meant more than just proving a point, it meant transforming it, turning it into something better. She picked up the phone and dialed her lawyer. "I want a full financial breakdown of Carter's company," she said. "I need to know exactly where they are struggling and what their assets look like." Her lawyer, a self and efficient woman named Miriam, responded instantly. "I'll have the full report for you by the end of the day. But from what I've already seen, they are hemorrhaging money. Poor investments, high turnover, and outdated business models. They need a complete overhaul." Olivia smirked. Perfect. By the end of the day, she had the full picture in front of her. Carter's company had been mismanaged for years. While they had once been a leader in their industry, their refusal to evolve had cost them dearly. 클라이언츠 오리빙, employees were frustrated, and internally, there was no clear direction. It was exactly what Olivia had been waiting for. She set up a meeting with Carter and his board under the guise of a potential investor. She wanted to see their desperation firsthand, to hear them try to sell her on why their company was still worth saving. The meeting was scheduled for Friday morning, and as she walked into the sleek, high-rise conference room, she felt an odd sense of familiarity. The last time she had been in this building, she had been a job applicant, hoping for an opportunity. Now, she was here to decide whether this company was worth her time. Carter looked as smug as ever, though there was a hint of stress behind his eyes. He stood to shake her hand. MS Flores, it's good to see you again, he said, his tone polite but forced. Olivia shook his hand firmly, her expression lunar. Like eyes. The meeting began, with Carter and his executives walking her through their financials, painting an optimistic picture despite the obvious decline. Olivia listened carefully, occasionally glancing at the documents in front of her, but she already knew the truth. They were desperate, and they had no idea who they were really sitting across from. Finally, when Carter finished his pitch, he leaned forward, clasping his hands together. So, Olivia, what do you think? With the right investment, we believe this company can be turned around. Olivia met his gaze, holding it for a long moment before she spoke. It's interesting, she said slowly, flipping through the papers. You're asking for a significant investment, but from what I can see, the company isn't just struggling financially. You have a retention problem. Clients and employees are leaving. And from what I've gathered, it's not just about money, it's about culture. Carter stiffened. You're working on that. Are you? Olivia tilted her head slightly. Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like a company that refuses to adapt. One that clings to outdated notions of what leadership should look like, who belongs at the table. She closed the folder in front of her and met his gaze directly. The same mentality that probably led to you turning away qualified candidates because they didn't fit your image. Carter's face paled slightly, but he quickly covered it with a forced chuckle. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Oh, I think you do, Olivia said calmly. Because that candidate was me. The room fell into stunned silence. Carter blinked, his mouth opening slightly as if he were going to argue, but then he shut it. He was caught, and he knew it. I applied for a position here months ago, Olivia continued, her voice steady. I was overqualified. I was prepared. But you dismissed me before I even had a chance to prove myself. And now, here we are. One of the executives shifted uncomfortably in their seat. Another coughed, looking anywhere but at Carter. Olivia leaned forward, her hands resting lightly on the table. Let's be honest, Carter. You don't need an investor. You need a lifeline. And I could be that lifeline. But not as an investor. Carter frowned. What are you saying? I'm saying I don't want a stake in this company. I want all of it. Carter's eyes widened. You want to buy us out? Yes, Olivia said simply. Completely. You and your executives would step down. I would take over and restructure this company from the ground up. There was a long pause. Carter looked at his team, but no one spoke. They all knew they had no better options. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Carter exhaled, his shoulders sagging slightly. And what if I say no? 올리비어 gave him a small, knowing smile. Then you'll be out of business in a year. Carter clenched his jaw, but he knew she was right. By the end of the week, the deal was finalized. The company, the same one that had rejected her, now belonged to Olivia Flores. She wasted no time making changes. The first thing she did was bring in new leadership, hiring people who actually valued diversity, innovation, and talent. She restructured the workplace culture, ensuring that no one would ever be turned away for not fitting an image. She reached out to former employees who had left because they felt honored, offering them positions in the new, improved company. And as for Carter, he walked away with his pride bruised. A severance package that was generous but far from the power he once held. Months later, Olivia sat in the same office that had once belonged to him, looking out at the city skyline. The company had already begun to thrive under her leadership, regaining its footing in the industry. It was stronger than ever. A soft knock at the door made her turn. Her assistant stepped in. There's a new applicant for the financial analyst position. She seems promising. Olivia smiled. Bring her in. Because now, she was the one making the decisions. And this time, the door would be open for everyone. The first few weeks of Olivia's leadership were grueling. Taking over a company that had been run into the ground was no small feat. And she knew that if she wanted real change, she would have to be the one leading the charge. The first thing she did was meet with every department, from the executives who had remained after the buyout to the entry-level employees who had been overlooked for years. She wanted to hear their thoughts, their frustrations, and most importantly, their ideas. Many of them were hesitant at first. They had seen leadership changes before, and those changes had rarely meant anything good for the people at the bottom. But Olivia wasn't like the others. She listened. She took notes. And then, she acted. One of her first major decisions was to overhaul the hiring process. She had been rejected from this company because of outdated biases, and she wasn't about to let that happen to anyone else. She implemented a new recruitment system that focused solely on skills, experience, and potential rather than superficial factors. Applicants were no longer required to fit a narrow mold of what professional looked like. She also made it a priority to promote from within. Many of the employees who had been with the company for years had been overlooked simply because they weren't part of the inner circle. Olivia changed that. She recognized talent where it existed and rewarded hard work with real opportunities. The impact was immediate. Morale improved, productivity increased, and the company's reputation slowly started to shift. Clients who had previously distanced themselves began to reconsider. Of course, not everyone was happy with the changes. A few of the remaining executives men who had worked closely with Carter expressed their doubts, questioning Olivia's leadership style. This company was built on tradition. One of them argued in a board meeting. These radical shifts might destabilize things further. Olivia met his gaze with unwavering confidence. Tradition is important, she said. But tradition doesn't pay the bills. What pays the bills is innovation, adaptability, and a workforce that actually feels valued. There were murmurs around the table, but no one could argue against the results. Still, there were challenges. Some of the old clients hesitated to work with her, wary of the new direction the company was taking. Olivia knew that winning them over would take time, but she was prepared for the long game. She personally reached out to them, inviting them to meetings, showing them the numbers, proving that this company wasn't just surviving, it was thriving under her leadership. And then there was Carter. Even after the buyout, he remained a looming presence. Though he no longer had any say in the company, he still had influence in the industry. Olivier had expected him to fade into the background, to move on to something else. But instead, he took every opportunity to publicly criticize her, giving interviews where he painted her as inexperienced, radical, and unqualified. I built that company from the ground up, he said in one particularly scathing article. And now, it's being dismantled by someone who has no respect for what made it successful in the first place. Olivier read the article over her morning coffee and smoked. It was almost laughable. Carter had driven the company into the ground, and now he was trying to blame her for picking up the pieces. Her assistant walked in a few minutes later, holding a tablet. "You're going to want to see this," they said, sliding it across the desk. It was a financial report, not hers, Carter's. After the buyout, he had attempted to start his own consulting firm, hoping to prove that he still had the business acumen to succeed. But things weren't going well. His client base had shrunk, his investors were pulling back, and his firm was struggling to stay afloat. Olivier couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. Not because she wanted to see him fail, but because it was proof that his outdated way of thinking was no longer viable. The business world was evolving, and he had refused to evolve with it. She set the tablet down and smiled. "Let him keep talking," she said. "You'll let the numbers speak for themselves." As months passed, Olivier's company continued to grow. The changes she had implemented weren't just working. They were setting a new industry standard. Other firms took notice, and soon, she found herself being invited to speak at conferences, asked to give insights on leadership and inclusion. She accepted every opportunity. She knew that her success wasn't just about her. It was about every person who had ever been overlooked, dismissed, or told they didn't belong. She wasn't just proving something to Carter. She was proving something to the entire world. One afternoon, as she was preparing for a meeting with a major investor, her assistant knocked on the door. "There's someone here to see you," they said. Olivier glanced at her schedule. "I don't have any appointments right now." "They don't have an appointment," her assistant admitted. "But I think you'll want to hear them out." Olivier raised an eyebrow but nodded. "Send them in." A moment later, the door opened, and to her surprise, it wasn't an investor or a journalist. It was one of Carter's former employees. A woman who had been at the company 4 years before she was quietly pushed out. She looked nervous as she stepped forward. "I don't know if you remember me," she said, "but I used to work here. Before everything." Olivier nodded, gesturing for her to sit. "I remember. You worked in strategy, right?" The woman smiled, a little relieved. "Yeah. Until I got pushed out because I didn't fit the image they wanted." Olivier leaned forward, folding her hands together. "And what brings you here today?" The woman took a deep breath. "I've been watching what you've been doing. And I just wanted to say, thank you for proving that people like us belong here." Olivier felt a lump rise in her throat. This was why she had done it. Not just for herself, but for every person who had been made to feel like they weren't enough. She extended her hand. "You've got some open positions, if you're interested." The woman's eyes widened in surprise. "Really?" Olivier nodded. "Really. We need people who understand where we are going. People who believe in what we are building. The woman hesitated for only a moment before shaking Olivia's hand. As she walked out of the office, Olivia leaned back in her chair, exhaling slowly. She had come so far, and she was just getting started. As the weeks turned into months, Olivia's leadership continued to transform the company in ways no one had anticipated. What had once been a failing business burdened by outdated practices was now a beacon of progress, connecting talent and clients who had long been overlooked by the traditional corporate world. The culture she built wasn't just about diversity, it was about recognizing excellence in every form, about creating an environment where the best ideas won, regardless of where they came from or who voiced them. The news of the company's resurgence spread fast, and soon, it wasn't just small businesses and independent clients reaching out. Major industry players, companies that had dismissed her before, were now paying attention. Olivia found herself fielding calls from executives who, just a year ago, wouldn't have given her a second glance. Some wanted partnerships. Others wanted to understand how she had managed to turn things around so quickly. The irony wasn't lost on her. One afternoon, as she was finishing up a report, her assistant walked in with an amused look on their face. "You're going to want to see this," they said, placing a folder on her desk. Olivia raised an eyebrow and picked it up. Inside was a formal proposal, one she hadn't expected. Carter's struggling firm had officially reached out for a potential partnership. She couldn't help but laugh. The man who had dismissed her, who had written her off without a second thought, was now asking for her help. His firm had been unable to keep up with the changes in the industry, and as much as he had resisted the evolution of business, he had finally reached the point where he could no longer survive on old ideals. Olivia tapped her fingers against the edge of the folder, thinking, "A year ago, this would have been a dream scenario, Carter. Forced to acknowledge that she had been the better leader all along. But now, sitting in her office, surrounded by a thriving company she had built from the ground up, she realized something. She didn't need his validation. She never had. She closed the folder and slid it aside. Send a polite decline," she said, "and make sure they know we wish them all the best." Her assistant smirked. "Cold." "Not cold," Olivia corrected with a small smile. "Just uninterested." She had spent too much of her life chasing approval from people who never saw her worth. But now, she wasn't chasing anyone. She was building something far greater than she had ever imagined. That evening, as she looked out at the city skyline, she reflected on how much she had changed. A year ago, she had walked into this building as a hopeful job applicant. Today, she walked in as its owner. She had redefined success on her own terms. And this was only the beginning.